Oh my God. Welcome to 5 Black Girls, 1 Rose. This is iconic.
Oh my God.
Truly. Where typically together we uncover what we can learn about modern dating, love, and relationships from popular television. Today we have a little bit of a special episode, deep diving into pop culture and all this fun stuff. I'm Natasha.
And I'm Justine.
And today we have 3 very special guests. This is the most voices we've ever had on the microphone. We are joined today by Rachel, Lauren, and Mariah Smith, co-hosts of the Smith Sisters live from Radio Andy on Siris XM. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you.
This is so exciting.
I'm like looking at like all Black women on my screen. That's making me so happy.
I know.
I'm loving it.
I love this
loving
as well.
it. This is what we were meant to be doing.
Yes. Sitting on the mic talking mess. I love it.
Sitting on the mic talking reality TV.
Yes.
Our ancestors' wildest dreams. I love
Yes.
it.
Truly. Yes. So Lauren, Rachel, and Mariah are entertainment experts. They take a deep dive into the biggest pop culture news every single day on their show. If you guys love the Kiki and sisterhood of me and Justine, that's kind of why most people are listening to us, is they always say they love the Kiki, the sisterhood. We've been friends for almost 20 years now.
Wow.
You guys are going to love the lovely ladies of the Smith Sisters live, and they are actually blood sisters.
Yes.
So the shade, the banter is real.
It's real. It's ingrained in us. We've learned it.
Right. You've been doing this. You're not new to this.
No.
Who would you guys say is like the funniest of the 3 of you?
Rachel, only because she doesn't get paid to be funny typically. Because Lauren and I are comedy writers, and Rachel is sort of the corporate girly of the bunch, and she, oddly enough, is the funniest because I guess when there's not a check involved, you can be a little bit more free.
She is like people don't they think of her as like just like a private citizen. That's her Instagram handle, but she is really funny. And then I would say, as far as like the person that's gonna make your eyes bug out like a cartoon, it's Mariah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That
shouldn't
be surprising. Yeah.
No, if it's like hot takes, or she's a shock jock, so she is always, not in a bad way, but she's always looking for a reaction. She's always...
I'm not always looking for a reaction. It's not my fault if people react to what I say.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
You see?
Yeah, do you see? And she's always saying crazy stuff.
Oh my God.
Lauren's just not funny at all.
Lauren just wrote for Black Lady Sketch Show and just isn't funny.
Right. Meanwhile, that's truly the only way she makes money is
being
on the, she actually is a volunteer for the show, for the radio show. She's like, I'm doing this because they need guidance.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. Well, Lauren, you used to produce Best Week Ever on VH1. So you've been in the celebrity gossip, pop culture, whole world, and done it in a very timely way. Same with you, Mariah. You used to work on Watch What Happens Live. I think both of you used to work on Watch What Happens. And Rachel, you used to be in PR and social media management. Do you think that social media has made the job of keeping up with pop culture harder or easier? So much easier. It is really the only way that I feel like I can have a seat in the job in the radio show, because I'm like, I've been on social doing it for work for over a decade, and I live and breathe the channels, live and breathe the platforms, and I can't miss it because I couldn't miss it for work. And so being so obsessed with social media, we joke as sisters and on our show that like there are so many things that I do not watch. Like I really don't watch a lot of Housewives. I used to not watch a lot of Bachelor. Now it's my life's work and my love. But I catch up with all of the people on Instagram.
She follows everyone.
I follow all of them. So I'll know things that are happening in the show, in the zeitgeist of the culture.
Of shows she's never watched. Like
I've
she
never,
will
Sister
follow
Wives.
anyone.
I follow all the kids, follow all the wives, and there are things where I'm like, did you see this happen? And they're like, how do you know that? But I'll follow your mom, your kid's mom, the dad, the cousin, and I keep up with the culture of the show, and I don't even watch.
And your Instagram handle is @PrivateCitizen. And you're doing all this following from everybody. That is
Private
so
Citizen
hilarious.
Rachel. Yep.
Private Citizen Rachel is even funnier.
She's a PI.
A PI for real. Wow.
Exactly. Gotta go combing through the socials.
Yes. Okay. So today we're going to dive into a few topics. Diddy, some Bravo mess. But first, we want to do a few little rapid fire just to get us kind of like get our juices running. Okay. For all of you, Love Island or Love is Blind?
Love Island.
Love Island.
Oh, damn, that was quick. Okay.
Yeah, that was.
Without a
question.
doubt.
We're a Love Island family through and through. Nothing like that is our
multiple countries.
Yes.
It's not agnostic to UK. We'll do US. We'll do Australia.
It's amazing.
Oh, you're in it.
I've dabbled in Spain.
Yeah.
Spain.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Which is the best?
We love it.
UK. Yeah. Always. Even their worst seasons are really good. Even though season 6, obviously, of US was like
nothing
pure
like it.
Historic
perfection. Like it captured lightning in a bottle. But we were recently watching All Stars on UK, and you just realize how like primed and ready these people are to be on Love Island in a way that's so, I don't know what, I would say inspiring. I don't know what it's inspiring me to do because I'm never going on Love Island, but it's such, you're like, oh, this is what you were born to do.
Yeah. I also think too that like, even though US was so spectacular last season and it's come up now, nothing will ever compare to the family activity that Love Island UK is in the UK. Like every single person in the UK watches Love Island. Like it's like people who don't like reality, people who are celebrities, like it just for whatever reason is like it brings the whole Commonwealth together and the way that the people act, so they carry it as not just being on any other reality show. They're like, we're on Love Island.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
so
true.
good.
Yeah, that I would like to think Love is Blind kind of like when it's on TV, a lot of people are watching it, but not the whole Commonwealth, and the whole nation.
Here's the thing. Love is Blind only has like 13 episodes, and it's like they're dropping the first 3, then it's like once a week after that. Love Island has close to 60 episodes and it's airing daily, essentially live. So it's like there's always something new coming out, and there's so many people that I love Love is Blind. Like I will watch
we love it.
But Love Island, nothing makes me happier. Nothing.
No, that's serotonin. Once that
the joy. Yes. Oh my god,
that's so
nothing
funny.
greater.
What is everybody's favorite Real Housewives franchise?
Oh, I would say mine, because I don't watch a lot of them, is Potomac. That to me,
nice.
That was my gateway, and that's one that I do watch, and I catch up with all of them, and I feel like there's a tide to them. I was telling my sisters at one point, I was like, the way they edit it, and I love a flashback.
Yes.
The way they call out receipts, which other, like, Salt Lake has started doing that. But something about Potomac, it just feels so real. Love all the Black women, and it doesn't get the shine that I think it deserves. I think people are always like, Jersey is the best, or OC. And I think Potomac isn't given a lot of shine because the women are Black, which I don't love. And it just feels like home to me.
I love Potomac. I'm going to say, this is really difficult because I am a Housewives like major fan, but if I had to say like today, right now, in the modern era, Salt Lake City.
Yeah, they've had a good 2 seasons.
It's so hard. It's so hard because like Lauren, when we worked at Watch What Happens, we had to watch all of them, and the only ones I don't watch now are OC and Jersey. Like I've just never have like connected in a way, but those are the ones where like Rachel, I'll unfortunately follow everything that's happening. my gut response is always Beverly Hills. I think that it is. They have some of the oddest women, but some of the longest mainstays of so many of the franchises that I love seeing all of those through lines. Even like their weaker seasons are still interesting. And I hate what they've done to Garcelle. And I'm hoping that next season Bose can like, I don't even know, because I love her separately, but I don't like her hand in what went down during the final moments of that season. But I do love Beverly Hills or New York, old New York.
Oh,
yes.
Damn, old New York. Yeah.
A gem.
R.I.P.
R.I.P.
Okay, what celebrities, or name one, actually, what celebrity are you always checking in on?
Oh, this is I'm always checking even if I don't follow them, I do like every 3 weeks check in on certain people. Yeah. Like Little Mix, for example. I don't follow any. Yes. Okay. There was a while when I was like, I don't want to follow any of them, and then Jade. I got more into Jade, got more into Perry. But Jessie Nelson is someone who I'm not following you, but I am going to check on you every 3 weeks because I need to know what's going on. I need to know what music you're putting out. I need to know. I am a strong believer that if you don't like something or if you have a critique of something, you have to actually take in the content. And so I don't feel like I can have a critique on her career, on whatever she's doing, if I don't engage with the media. So Jessie Nelson is probably my one that I'm always checking for.
Specific.
So specific.
It's such a surprising answer.
And there you go.
I never would have guessed that one. Yeah.
No.
I don't more than you go.
Mine is Jennifer Lopez.
Yeah.
Like I just always it's sort of like how like I used to have this thing, now I don't anymore because he sucks, but like I would be like, how do I know the words to this Drake song? I don't even remember hearing it, but I know all the words. Like I get a download in my brain. That's how I feel about Jennifer Lopez. Like I will be like, oh well, she just went shopping at this ice cream shop in Rhode Island, and it's like, where did I even know that information? I just am always keeping tabs on her because she's important to me.
Why is she important to you?
So I'm a millennial, and I really like fell in love with her whole vibe and aesthetic. Like when she was in her kind of saying the N-word era. When she was like,
Lauren had
Jenny from the block.
Jenny from the block
stiletto
era?
Tim heel boot that she would wear.
With the velour
in
suit.
St. Louis, Missouri.
Yes. Girl. She has been my style icon. I had J-Lo's Glow perfume I bought.
Oh my God.
I was like obsessed with her. So, and I have remained that way. And I also just love that she's such a good dancer. And I loved, that she came from In Living Color. Like she has flipped and reversed it so many times in her career. And she is a legend. Also, she doesn't learn from her mistakes.
Ever.
Never.
Not one.
Never.
No. Big age, but still just having fun.
Still.
Yeah. What's yours, Warren?
This is... it's not a person, it's the Kardashian Jenners. Like it's simply put, because I grew up writing about them essentially. And I don't talk about them deep dive that much on our show. And I don't watch the new reality show even, but always, it's sort of like Lawrence, like I always know what's happening and I can't get away from that. And it's like I think the only extended universe I follow still on Instagram are like their extended family and friends, and like their hairstylists, their makeup artists, like all of that's like I am constantly seeing and keeping up with what's happening, but I can't. I just love to know what's what, because I feel like I just have known so much about them. I can't know nothing about them.
You're in it.
Yeah. You can't throw all that away. For no reason.
What is it for you two?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Ooh, I didn't even think about this. Celebrity I'm always checking in on.
Think about who mine is.
I think Zendaya for me.
That's a great one.
Very good. But there's not a lot to check in on.
She's always filming something somewhere. But even that, I just want to know, like, what is she working on? Where is she currently?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely her.
I love that.
Mine would probably be it's like TikTok people and social media people.
Mhm.
I really love this girl so much, but her life and her presence is complicated. Monet McMichael.
Ooh,
Okay, who
I
is
check
this?
up in on her a lot.
I need to look her up.
I love her. know.
She's so fabulous. She's so fabulous. Her boyfriend was a Casa Amor on Love Island.
Yes.
And he's like 10 years older than her.
UK, US? What do we?
What's his
Okay,
name?
who?
Jalen Noble is his name.
Oh,
okay.
He's quite the controversial figure.
Okay.
Yes.
I remember him.
love her presence online, just her. When it's her and him, I'm like, oh my God, I hate this. Like, it's,
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So it's just so complicated with me with her. So I would say her.
Okay.
I love her, but you know.
That's a great
boyfriend
one.
can go.
Love.
That is a
I'm
good
gonna
one.
I'm gonna tap into Monet.
Yes, I
Mhm.
guess
Yeah.
what's happening.
Locked in.
Yes. Okay, let's change gears. It might get a little dark in here, but we're gonna talk Diddy. The Diddy trial, it's the big thing that's happening right now. Okay, for those who are under a rock, Puff Daddy, 55 years old, he was arrested last September, was charged with 5 federal charges, racketeering being one of the biggest charges, along with 2 other charges of sex trafficking and 2 charges of transportation to engage in prostitution. He's pleaded not guilty to all charges. He's denying everything. The trial has begun and is set to run for the next 2 months. How are you guys keeping up with the trial? Are you keeping up?
Mm-hmm.
You are.
Yes, the Shade Room is where I'm getting most because they are doing someone for them is
like in the court
tweeting it all in
Okay.
the and
Yeah.
so
But they're also
post,
only picking up certain things that have like
Splashy names attached.
splashy
Legs
names or
with it,
things
yeah.
like that.
Oh.
I am looking at like the updates of like at CNN or MSNBC, the live court updates. Like I look through that to like read what people have said in their testimonies, and some I will like if I do see it on the Shade Room, I'll go. It'd be like if I miss that, see what's happening. But
they're not doing a bad job of
they're just
recapping.
screenshotting. They're not doing not doing a bad job. I just find that sometimes if I wait for that to hit my algorithm, it's like out of order.
Too late.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I find that if I just go to like the dedicated tab on like the New York Times, then I can kind of follow the chronology of events. It is really like upsetting me, which I understand why, but like again, as a millennial, I was like in one of my first jobs when the Casey Anthony trial happened. And when because it was in Florida, they filmed, it was like watching C-SPAN. I watched it all day, every frame of the trial. And I'm really missing like being able to see with my own eyes and hear with my own ears some of the comings and goings.
Yeah, those sketches are not enough.
The sketches are not enough.
The sketches are crazy.
I'm reading every transcript I can find because I want to try to read between the lines and like basically draw conclusions that aren't being drawn for me, just as I'm curious about how they're proceeding,
or like where the jury is looking, like they were like how are they engaging and what are their faces looking like things like that. Like I want that. I also read the Shade Room. I got burned once with Hollywood Unlocked. I was spreading a false narrative that before her actual death, the Queen had died.
The Queen. I remember that day.
And I before
like 6 months before she died.
Yes. It was crazy.
And there's certain people in my life will never let me live that down. And I am like, I can't. I have to just take a beat with them. And I also, whenever I'm on the Shade Room, I inevitably look at the comments.
Yeah, it's bad.
And the comments
they have taken a turn where it's more leaning from at least the top 50. It's leaning to why are we still talking about this man? Put him under the jail. Like it's now making a turn, and I don't know if people were just too saturated with Cassie's story, but now or with her testimony. But now people are like with Dawn testifying, with Cassie's mom testifying, like her best friend, people. His old assistant, they're now seeing that it wasn't just this girl who, agreed to do all these things and is now looking for money. This is a full narrative. This is a life that this man was living, and he toured, all these people witnessed it. didn't do anything, but now they're coming forward to paint the full picture for idiots who didn't believe the video, didn't believe Cassie at the beginning. It's crazy.
Yeah. Can we talk about Cassie? She's 8.5 months pregnant.
It's crazy.
And what I saw, and I meant to dig deeper, is that I know the judge was trying to have her finish her testimony on the Friday of that week, but the defense was like, we want to make it so she has to come back. Yeah. And if she has her kid and she can't come back, then it's a mistrial.
Yeah.
And it's like,
my
these
God.
people, at any turn, they're trying to make it just mind-bogglingly awful for her.
Yeah.
Yeah. The
It's
amount
sick.
of strength that she possesses and the amount of bravery and courage that it takes. And I believe, based on what I read of her testimony, that like, were this 5 years ago, that we would be in a different situation. She said, I've had to work on myself so much because she was carrying so much shame and trauma and all this stuff. Like, to be able to sit there in that room with him and talk about these things that like, and knowing that like with the internet existing, that people were going to be saying X, Y, and Z about her because of the things that she was divulging. It takes such strength. And then on top of that, to be up there in your third trimester.
Crazy. Yeah. And it's not just, people are like, well, she's up there and it's stressful for her on the stand, which I think is peak stress.
Yeah.
But think about the stress she had in her 5 months, or when she knew she was going to have to testify, the gear up, and now having her mom have to testify, her husband might have to. This, like, she now has to sort of compartmentalize, even though the world is going to keep talking about it for 2 months. This is still going to be clouding over her in her postpartum journey, all of the first year of her kid's life. It just is like, we protect her at all costs, and thank you, God, for therapy, because she needs to be surrounded by love and mental health professionals, because I wouldn't be able to be picked up off the ground.
Yeah, it is really wild when you break it down like that, like just the weight of this on her, and already she's so deep into her pregnancy, which already for just any individual walking around is a weight of pressure within itself.
Yes.
So,
and she's raising 2 children that she already has.
Yeah.
Right.
So sad. And her mom having to pay that demon $20,000 not to release her daughter's sex tape is I'm like, even if it's just he's doing these types of things, extorting civilians for no reason. This man doesn't need $20,000.
No,
it's
he
just
doesn't.
because he can.
Just to turn the knife. Same with her former best friend who had a falling out with Cassie because Diddy assaulted the best friend. And then when she said something about it, Cassie, who was a victim and basically imprisoned by this man, made her was the delivery system by which the friend had to sign an NDA. And she received, maybe it's the same $20,000 from Diddy to not say anything. And then that ruined their friendship, which is like, that's classic abuser stuff of like isolating you from everybody around you so that you don't have a support system.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It is really crazy. And just like the bravery of Cassie, as you said, like protect her at all costs, just the optics of her on the stand and then her in 3rd trimester pregnancy on the stand, it just gives me chills. And it's crazy because, the New York City court systems, there's no camera. So we're just looking at these like wild drawings or whatever. But even from that alone, I'm like just getting chills, just thinking about her sitting there facing him and all of her power now on the other side. It's really,
and
really inspiring.
seeing the amount of support he has in the room, that would make me want to throw up. And
when I found out that his lawyer's mom was there, I'm like, what are you doing here?
What are you doing?
Like, you literal fool. And him and those little hearts he's putting up with his
I'm okay.
I'm
like,
okay. And like, we don't need that.
We're so all set.
Yeah. God.
Yeah, there's so many details. There's so many new details that we learn every day. But one of my favorite things that has come out of this case is Alex Fine's statement after Cassie's testimony. in the statement, he bodied it. He called Diddy a demon.
Mm-hmm.
He said that this horrific chapter is put behind us. My favorite line is the last line of the statement, where he basically says, "Y'all are welcome because the world is better because Cassie's in it."
Yep.
And she was able to stand up there and tell her truth. What do you guys think about his statement so far, aside from Diddy's old assistant being the only man who's spoken? Because all of the problematic kind of opinions that I hear about this case has all been from men so far.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about being a man, a white man who's saying these kinds of things? Like, what do you think that's doing for the case?
I think he did a great thing when he basically said, everyone's saying I saved Cassie. Like, I did not. Like, he's completely removing himself from her healing, which is as he should and what is the truth. So I think that is probably the most powerful thing, because everyone who has anything good to say about her is like, he's a strong man for putting up with that, or he, put her on the right track. It's like, he has nothing to do with that, and he knows that. So him even saying that and saying Cassie saved Cassie is so powerful that people hopefully can have a better understanding that she had to regain her own agency, and it wasn't that she hopped from a horrible man to a good man and she was like, oh, I'm fine and I'm better. It's completely two separate things.
And Alex was mixed up. Wasn't he Diddy's trainer? So it's like, if anything, he's a constant reminder of the abuse that she's been through. So she even probably, in starting a relationship with him, was afraid, probably, in putting herself back together. Being in the relationship with Alex was not going to be the saving. It was going to maybe add more pressure to the, I want to get better. I want to be free from this person, even though I met my now partner through the demon.
Yeah, I remember when she got with him, and I was like, "Girl, you ate that. I know that's right.
Yeah,
you're gonna go over from Diddy to the trainer." I was like, "Hell yeah!" It was before we knew all we knew.
Everything. Yeah, it's very Giselle coded, because Giselle is also now with her jiu-jitsu trainer, Tom Brady.
That is true.
It's so iconic to me.
It's so good. It's so good.
I was gonna say, so Dawn also got up on the stand. And she detailed one particular physical beating that took place in public at a restaurant. She cited Usher, Neo, as also being there as witnesses. What are we to make of these celebrity implications? What do we do with them? Because I don't think Usher's going on stand. I don't think Neo's going to put out a statement. Like, what then do we do now with this information?
I think this is probably problematic, but I'm like, I as all this stuff is coming out, we're like, many people are questioning, what artists are we going to have to listen to at any point? Like, we're losing quickly.
Dropping like flies out here. Yeah.
We're losing entertainers with a quickness. And I'm like, I do believe Usher was probably there. Neo was probably there. And to everyone who witnessed what Diddy did to Cassie, they all need to be put somewhere. They all need to be held accountable. So I'm holding Usher accountable, and I'm also holding Dawn accountable. I'm holding the assistant accountable. Like, I feel like we have to hold all the people accountable who witnessed it, and pinpointing the Usher and the Neo. Those are the names that we know, but everyone who was complicit in this abuse needs to have their feet held to the fire as well.
I agree. In an ideal world, that's the case. But like, even look at her mom, who was extorted by this man. It's like, she of all people would want to be the one to
rescue,
find some way. But when you're dealing with someone like this, I think it's easier said than done in so many situations. Like, if it was as easy as that, no one would be suffering in such a way.
Yeah.
Lauren, what do you think? You're a J-Lo
fan.
I know.
I think I agree with both of my sisters. I think that, like, as a fan, and as a fan that's a woman, I am, because celebrities, like, everyone is complicit, everyone should be accountable, but I'm also going to ask more of the people who I'm giving my listening dollars, my concert dollars to. I'm going to need them to say, like, here's where I acknowledge that I could have done better.
Mm-hmm.
I could have done more. Not to say I could have swooped in there like Superman and carried Cassie out of there, or I could have fixed all this, but I was there and I didn't act in a way that was honorable and that was helpful to the victim in that situation. And for that, I apologize.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I'm looking for is just some level of acknowledgement. But I also do agree with Mariah that there's like levels of power imbalances, context, you know, a misunderstanding of like, you know, and sometimes when you're in a traumatic situation, you get paralyzed by fear and you're in a fight, flight, or freeze
or do you
situation.
think someone else is like the theory of if someone else is going to call 911 if you see an emergency.
Bystander effect.
Yeah.
However, I'm not saying that I excuse any of the people that witnessed the physical violence. I just, knowing the depths of how nefarious Diddy was and how he was holding things over every single person's head. That's why he's on trial right now, because he was racketeering and intimidating people. Like that is what he's on trial for. Yeah. So I can understand how it's complex, but all I'm asking for is just like a little, just a crumb of accountability and acknowledgement so that we can have better understanding as to what their mentality was.
And out of the two, I'm like, I don't expect nothing from Neo.
Zero.
He's,
no.
Dirty. But I'm like, we're not getting anything from him. If we're getting something from anyone, it's Usher. And I think there's possibility, but it won't be until after. I feel like all these people
after
too, they
trial.
kind of they're like, I know that this Joker is going to be put in jail, in prison. I'm gonna wait, let this all cook, and then I'm gonna say my piece, because I now no longer have to live in fear of what,
and they'll
pulling
called to the stand. Like they're probably like, if I say something, will this?
I don't want to be wrapped into it.
Yeah. Damn. Yeah, we're just looking for a statement. That's really what it is. An acknowledgement of any sort. Yeah.
Well, speaking of Usher, Justin Bieber's team put out a statement.
Oh, Jesus.
And, they said that he wasn't directly harmed by Sean Combs and he wasn't a victim, but obviously this shifts the focus away and distracts from the victims that rightfully deserve the attention.
Yep.
And that's like a really kind of conflicting statement. Like, I don't know why you would say something like that right now.
Why?
I know why.
Yeah.
Because he's being dragged for being erratic online, and people are like, is he okay? Why is he talking crazy on stories? I think it's bad that they were like, you know what? People have been asking if he's involved. Let's put this statement out. So everyone's focused on that headline and not the headline of, is he high again on stories?
Damn, it's been
or is he splitting up with his wife?
Yeah. Right. Or splitting up with his wife.
I've seen that.
Does he know his kid is where?
Right.
Like,
It's like, it's them literally using this trauma to help save his behind.
Well, that makes a lot of sense, because he's been surrounded by really terrible people his whole career.
His whole career.
Yeah. Usher again
pops up.
There's and here we find Usher
putting his words together to get this paragraph out, because
I know.
Get that black background white text ready, brother.
Please, he's been coming up way too often.
To type it out.
Yes.
Now the jury, there was a lot of talk about the jury. That was a whole thing. How are they going to pick this jury? We find out there's 8 men, 4 women, some regular New Yorkers. We have a scientist, a massage therapist, a deli clerk. 4 allegedly said in their questionnaire that they liked hip hop and R&B. 1 said he saw the video of Puffy assaulting Cassie. There's been, already stuff coming out about the prosecution. Struck 7 Black people. The defense tried to call it out as racism. The prosecution presented reasons for why they struck those people. Like, the jury selection was like a whole thing. What do you guys think both sides were looking for? We have a jury now. And they're allegedly happy with the jury, right? Both sides have to be happy. What do you think they were looking for in this jury selection?
I genuinely think that they were like, let's try to find the 7 people in New York, or 8, however many there are. 12, thank you. I was like, why did I say 7? I don't know why I said 7.
A 3-person jury.
Yes, the one person in New York. The 12 people who literally pretended like they did it, except for the one person who said they saw the video. That person was telling the truth. Everyone else lied, and they knew that they were going to get a book deal after they got, or they were going to sit down with Gayle King after. Like, no one in New York can pretend like they don't know Diddy, they don't know the story. Part of Diddy's team was like, we don't even want to take this to trial because anyone you put in a juror seat is going to know and have a preconceived notion of what they should say, how this should, the verdict should play out. So I'm like, they wanted people who they were like, oh, they don't know anything. They do. And
you're going.
I think that the prosecution wanted jurors that would put aside all of the evidence in front of their faces in favor of a celebrity that they love. And I think the defense wanted that. And I think the prosecution wanted the most literal people on earth who would only stick to the letter of the law and be like, okay, they're saying the charge is this. Did I see this charge? And put aside every bop they've ever danced to, every video they've ever seen. So they were
every Harlem Shake they've ever shoot.
They were looking for two different objectives.
If I'm the prosecution, I'm finding some of the worst white people I know and being like, come up in here and do your big one. My politics are out the window. You can have some crazy stuff posted online, and I want you front and center. Like a lot of the jurors, I keep giggling to myself as this TMZ video. They were like getting jurors as they were released from the sort of
questioning,
like selection as they were coming out of the courthouse, and everyone was happy to be released because they're like, I'm not trying to take off work for 2 months. I want to have my summer. I don't want to be like all of these literal reasons why you just don't want to be on jury duty, regardless of who it is. They're like, I'm not trying to be sitting up in here for 2 months. Like,
no,
what?
The peak of July.
Like, and so I think that was a key component. So some of those people probably really don't even want to be there. But I really wonder. I want, like, it's hard because even with like a Harvey Weinstein or a Bill Cosby, you're liable to find people who don't know too much about those men just because of their age and like however involved you are with whatever. But this is something that transcends cultures or generation.
And even by the book people, if that's what we go with, there are still people like we saw in the Casey Anthony trial who are like, the evidence presented in front of me did not do what you're saying it did. So even though I do think he is an abuser, I do think that he intimidates people and he uses his power. He's in here for these specific charges. I don't see it. You know, like I don't see the one-to-one. You didn't sell me on it, which will be.
I would hate to have Rachel on my jury.
Why?
Because my team messes up once, and she's like, it didn't line up to
mistrial
the law. You will have definitions of every single charge and go through all the transcripts and be like, well, you said it was racketeering, but I only heard he spoke to one person. And like,
damn, keeping the math together.
And that's, what's really hard too, having, we talk about this a lot, but like calling back to like my time on a jury a long time ago, like a grand jury, there are certain rules that, like, for example, you cannot have, like once they go into deliberation, if they want to ask, like, so what is the charge and what is the law regarding the charge? They don't hand you a paper that has it. They have to have someone come in and read it to you. You don't get any paperwork or any literature in front of you to be like, was this racketeering? You also really, you're able to take notes, but you have to hand them in at the end of the day. You can't take them with you. So if you don't
remember.
And you can't take them, I don't think, into the deliberation. So it's like going off of vibes at a certain point where like you then just have to argue it out with the other 12, 11 dodo birds in the room with you where it's like what did they say? And it's so difficult.
Yeah. I've done grand jury as well. That was one of my memories is like, it was like the blind leading the blind.
Yes.
And if you had questions, they had to bring someone back in to repeat. You don't get any physical paperwork of any kind.
And you couldn't ask follow-up questions like, well, does that mean that... And they're like, I will read you the definition of that word that you asked for, but they don't answer any
in between
questions.
The lines. Yeah.
And I'm like, they can't really... I need to know how they're trusting that these people are not going home and talking about this, not going home and Googling. I would have offense to
they're not being kept like in a hotel.
I don't think so. The first weekend said, go watch some baseball and basketball and don't think about this. They went home.
What?
I don't even know how
talking about.
Yeah.
There's no way. Well, how do they decide who gets sequestered and who doesn't?
Yeah.
That's
I guess
fair.
they figured that this trial has already permeated their lives so much that
what more can they do?
What are they going to do? Sequestered that? Like, what are they going to do?
And I think and I could be wrong, but I think for most cases, when you sequester a jury, it's more for their safety rather than
keeping them from
trial.
Yeah.
Got it.
Or getting tampered with, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I would say the same goes for these people.
Yeah, me too.
Right.
Yeah, because everyone in there, his family, anyone, friends can see who he is. See
exactly
who's sitting up there.
Yeah.
I don't know, guys.
It's not good.
It's not good.
It's not good at all.
It's not good.
It's not good.
Okay, so on a lighter front, let's segue a little bit to Bravo.
Let's do it.
Let's start with Summer House. So first thing, there's expected to be a big announcement coming to the reunion. There are so many theories floating around, ranging from Paige is leaving the show to Amanda is pregnant. What are y'all theorizing?
I feel like I saw Jesse say something where he was like, you know, anytime people say there's like an announcement, it's never like hitting in the way. It's always like flatter than what you expect. Mm-hmm. But he, for some reason, was like, this one, we all kind of were like, oh, wow, I didn't see that coming. That to me was like Paige leaving, maybe. I'm feeling more. I don't think she's leaving either. I felt like it was Amanda saying she was pregnant and them not knowing it was going to happen because like they've gone all they maybe know something about where Kyle and Amanda are in their lives. Yeah. And so I have been doing lots of zoom ins on Amanda's like photos and being Me like, too. I'm like, okay, she did wear a flowy dress to her brother's
the brother's wedding.
The bridesmaids dress.
Y'all are crazy.
I was like, that's not a check. If this were Amanda from 6 months ago, she would have worn a bodycon. She's not wearing something that's tight on the bottom and flowy at the top.
Okay.
So it's giving pregnant to me, and she's been posting some like backdated stuff like, hadn't done this dump from this trip with my family a few months ago. And it's like,
and in the brother's wedding picture, she had no drinking.
No drinking. She was holding a cup that was similar to other guests, but I was like, I feel like it's being orchestrated.
Okay.
But so I'm throwing my hat into the ring for pregnancy.
I like that theory. I think my theory is that they're going to heed the fans' calls and film them in the city. It'll be like a dual.
Please
have them during the week and the
you
weekend.
think? Yes, that's a great point.
I'm like, I would love that.
Especially because we're having the absence or the pause of Real Housewives of New York City.
Yeah.
And because of the success of the Valley.
And the Valley. And there's so much that happens during the week, especially we didn't see a lot of Jesse and Lexi's relationship because they were, doing all this in the week, I think it'll help. So like Paige probably, it'll give them better access to like not have, if they miss a weekend, you don't miss 4 episodes. It's like, if you miss a weekend, we still know what you're doing in the city, and there's still the connections. Because they're even a little bit more city events this season than there typically were. Yeah. But I would love that.
It was a test. It was a tester.
Yeah, that's true.
I would love that.
I hope that's it.
Yeah,
I really hope that's it. Paige leaving, I don't want anything to do with
that. No, I don't want to hear that.
They can shutter about that. Shutter the show at that point.
Yeah. At that point, you have lost a viewer.
Yeah. And them not being clear on where Roni stands, like coming back and maybe whatever. I thought before that rumor like popped up and was squashed that maybe it was like Lindsay on Roni because she's been popping up around. But I don't think everyone would have been like, oh, that's actually surprising. I think it feels like a natural next step for her. So I don't take that as a big enough surprise. Right. So I'm going to Mando or the filming in the city.
Yes. Okay. Nice. Jesse or Wes, we know you guys had them on the show recently. Jesse or Wes, who's handled their showmance and their woman the worst?
Jesse.
Jesse?
That was so fast.
Here's the thing. I initially didn't.
New York Times, though, Mariah.
Hear me out. West, when confronted with what he did, even if his responses weren't what we would love in terms of the silence, he was able to be like, I guess if I didn't get it, but like, he's able to see other perspectives. Jesse doesn't think he did anything wrong. Jesse thinks that he and Lexi were great, and he's going around telling lies on camera and blaming Sierra for everything that he, like, things that just don't make sense, and isolated Lexi from the girls so he could still have his friendships and then still be with her. I think Jesse's is more calculated and diabolical. West is more just being a stupid boy.
Yes, I think West learned from his mistakes. And I also think, to piggyback on what Mariah said, that Jesse was wrong from the gate. When he liked Lexi, he was attracted to her. He went exclusive with her just basically so he could sleep with her. And then he started to be like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Like he was sinister from the jump. Whereas West, I think, was genuinely interested in Sierra, and the wheels fell off. But Jesse started with no wheels.
No.
Yeah, the meeting the parents, her meeting his parents, she meeting his parent, like that took it to another level. Why did you do that?
He also wasn't being forthcoming. He wasn't on the same page with everyone. No. In confessionals, he was like saying, she's really hot, I'm into it, let's see what happens. To the girls, he would be like, I don't really know. It seems like she's doing a little too much. To the boys, he's like, I want her to be my girlfriend. She's my girlfriend. And to Lexi, it was like, I'll do whatever you want me to do. It was never cohesive.
Right.
And so it always seemed like he was like scared, but then you would see him bring her flowers, ask to be exclusive. And then he was scared again, flirting with Sierra. It's like, you were just trying to have all of it happen to you at the same time. And run off vibes, and that's not how this works.
No, not at all. What do you guys think of
guys?
I know they're both so doofy. What do you guys think of Sierra's entanglement in this whole storyline that she just obviously wants no part of, but also like, did you see Sierra last year at the reunion? Like, why would you mess with Sierra again?
Yeah,
because I honestly think Sierra is beautiful. She has half of the cast wants to be with her. Yeah. I think they are just so blinded by how beautiful, charismatic, and like friendly she is, and they sort of smart, and like they sort of lose their marbles because they think they can play at her level, but they absolutely cannot. And they also know they can't handle a Sierra who is a full-grown woman, and they want their cake and eat it too, basically.
I think that and I would say that all of these dudes, Sierra is the only Victoria's Secret model on Bravo. That has ever been on Bravo. She is an actual literal model and an ICU nurse. these people have made the mistake of thinking that just because she's doing a summer share with you, that they're in the same category as Sierra. And that is simply not true. So they kind of feel like because she's in front of them, they're like, oh, I can treat her any kind of way, like these girls that I run into at the whatever up the street. And it's like, no. They have allowed her proximity to trick them into thinking that she's attainable.
Yeah.
Damn.
Never.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That is true. I will definitely say that is true. I think also love Sierra down, but I think Austin, even her going near Austin,
that
crazy.
Also
Love crazy.
Taste. I'm not gonna say that.
I know. I'm like, she did give West a try.
And West saw that she gave Austin a try. So they're in their head, they are believing, oh, I do have a chance.
That's
Austin
true.
had a fucking chance, you know?
So then I'll amend what I said.
The girl.
She is. And I'll say that she also being in proximity with these people has deluded herself into thinking that
that's what
she
thinks that these are the people at the end of the day she's seeing the most.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like when you're in this scenario and you also want to be, she's also trying to be a good steward of the show, be proactive,
participatory,
the storylines. It's like there are so many things working against her, and then you get a little too close and things get a little too real, and then that's when you start actually hurting people's feelings.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Right. As we saw.
Which anyone who hurts Sierra's feelings, that like Sierra and Paige,
we're coming for you.
Girl,
Right.
Yes.
Square up, let's go.
For them.
Right.
Step.
Oh my God.
All of us are ready to just like throw down. Ready to go. Square up.
No one said anything bad about him, but we're giving out warnings.
Oh
Don't play
God.
with it.
So we have said in weeks prior that we want to see Sierra date like a freshly torn ACL. We've been calling them like just like a freshly injured player of some kind, right?
She deserves a niche.
Great way to put it.
She needs.
Are
someone.
we talking freshly torn NFL or freshly torn NBA?
NBA,
or soccer?
NFL, MLB.
Yes.
MLB. I see her with MLB. I see her with MLB.
Yes.
MLB would be nice.
I also
actually
see
see
her
her with
with
soccer.
a venture capitalist, like an Alexis Ohanian type.
Ooh,
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Ooh, I love this. Long money. Good.
Yes.
Long money.
Yes.
Not tied to his like physical health. in
No,
any way.
no.
Yes.
No deals, but there are deals, but they're very different than just contracted deals.
Yes.
She needs to be with a rich man who dresses like he's poor.
Ooh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I feel like she'd like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that is her vibe.
Yeah. Some sort
Let
of
us
something has
match
to
make
be.
for you, Sierra.
Yeah.
Please, Sierra. Please. What
But
about
not anyone
Paige?
who would not want her to be on the show. That's anyone.
Yeah.
I
Yes.
just want people who will allow these women
right.
to do what they love
Yes.
and film my program.
Yes.
I want
Paige.
Paige. She deserves, and I think she will get. I honestly think she'll get someone who's like a. If I'm not wishing ill will on anyone's marriage, but like if Robert Pattinson got a divorce or like separated from Sookie, someone like that, like age appropriate actor who might have been like an old school heartthrob who is now in a new phase of life. I think that's someone who can match her fame level and appreciate what she does.
Yeah, I feel like and now that I'm saying it, I'm like, okay, they're all Spider-Man, but like a Tobey Maguire who's divorced or Andrew Garfield.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Andrew would be
Yes.
great.
Andrew would be
like,
great.
Yeah.
or you know who she really should be with because his wife is a little young for him is Chris Evans.
Oh my God.
Oh, we love Chris. Yeah.
I would combust.
That would be too much for me to handle.
Because the foundation is there because Chris dated Jenny Slate.
Jenny
you know?
Slate, he
So
loves
she has a
cheeky
little
girl.
edge. She's funny.
Oh, I
she
didn't
has
know
her
that.
own career.
He likes his funny TikTok.
Yes.
Okay.
If he and the Warrior Nun ever break up, he and Paige need to get together.
Not the
I
warrior.
swear to God,
nun.
though, if she ever links up with BJ Novak, I'm flying.
No,
and I'm
she's
finding
not.
her
She's
in
not.
Denver,
She's
Colorado.
not.
I don't
She's
think
not.
Paige is going that way.
I also think, and my sisters are gonna laugh,
Oh God!
but
You're gonna say Harry Styles?
no.
Oh,
No, please no.
We are inching closer to. There's always a queer person in the group. let Paige be swooped up by like a power lesbian.
Okay.
And who has a bunch of money, has a bunch of fame. I could see her on a Sophia Bush track where it's like
I was like soccer player. What was that girl's name? Yes.
Yes. A woman soccer player, that would be everything.
Yes.
I could see on the Sophia Bush,
WNBA.
Gabby Wendy track where we see like.
Okay.
Wow. So there are a lot of women on the Liberty that I think they would be like, you got your fame, I got mine, and oh my God, I'm not gay. I just like Tiffany
like
Cloud.
you.
I don't know.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my
That's
God,
what I
see
think
it.
could also, because there's so many of them where it's like one of you has to have some thought.
Yes, right.
One of you is thinking it or wants to try.
Interesting.
That is true. There's no queer person on Summer House. There hasn't been
since what's his name?
Season 1.
It's from season 1 too. Yeah. Or Preston from Martha's Vineyard.
Martha's Vineyard. Yeah.
Yes. So I'm throwing that out there. I'm just pie in the sky.
No, that would be everything. Paige with like a Liberty jersey on. I see it. That would be everything.
And she was sitting front dress up with courtside looks.
Yes, courtside at the Liberty.
Looks. Yeah.
Please.
Oh my God, that's so funny. What are you guys' initial thoughts on the reunion looks? Did you check out the looks yesterday?
I liked them. They weren't.
I was low key disappointed by Sierra's.
Yeah,
Sierra's last year was so.
Here's the thing. Sierra,
body
I
is
don't
so
think puts that she's not dressing like the reunion. She and Paige get dressed every day to go somewhere. This is another day at work.
Oh, I love Paige's outfit.
I did love Paige's, especially since it's a little bit green. I loved Lindsay's. Lindsay's was my favorite.
Me too. I love
Lindsay's hands down
like
my
Lindsay's,
favorite.
yeah.
Gabby looks amazing.
Gabby
also.
looks
great.
Yeah.
Don't know why she's on the show, but she looks great.
Yes.
Lexi, it's giving Giovanni a bit, but I do like it. It works for her. She looks like she's like Lala Kent's swing or understudy on Bravo. Like in this performance, the role of Lala will be played by Lexi.
Yes.
Sierra's dress, I want more from this.
Yeah, I wanted more from, and I didn't hate Amanda's, but again, it was like it didn't serve its purpose.
Right. I feel like we've seen her in this.
She loves a drop crotch.
This doesn't.
She does, and they always with the Summer House reunions have us. Even though the color palettes are generally always the same, it always ends up like in a pastel. Or like muted tone or whatever, no matter what the theme is, even though this was like a bed, like there were the men always are in a tan suit, a light blue suit. It's just nothing giving different. So they really don't give them much to work with. And they're not like the old school housewives where they're dressing in gowns. These women would rather jump off the top of the house than come up in there in a poof skirt.
Yeah. And it seems like Kyle West and Jesse, no, Carl West and Jesse, they all were like, where'd you get your suit? Oh yeah, I'll just get one in blue. Like that. It was like,
link me.
You didn't try. Yeah, link me. I'll just, can you pick me up one in green? That was like, you didn't try.
Little underwhelming. I agree. Yeah. Okay, I know we're over time. Do you guys have time for one more question?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so last thing we wanted to end on is a show that no one's really talking about anymore, but I want to talk about why we're not talking about it.
Okay.
Pop the Balloon.
Okay.
So it was on Netflix. I think it still is on Netflix.
It still is. Yeah.
It's
live
still going.
on Thursdays.
Live on Thursdays. Just thoughts, general thoughts. What went wrong? What happened?
Are we talking specifically Netflix?
The Netflix Pop the Balloon with Yvonne Orji.
It's too polished.
Yes.
It's too. I don't like that they're like randomly reality stars.
Yeah, that's my thing.
Like, it just, nothing seems cohesive in a way that makes sense. And it, again, and I mean no disrespect, there are too many white people.
Yeah.
I mean,
agreed.
This is not the show.
Yeah. The show,
No.
I agree with you. I don't like the celebrities, or not celebrities, the reality people. It's like giving perfect match, but it's like not enough to really understand their lore. And I also think that they're too polite. I need more people getting popped the second they hit the stage.
Yeah.
All these people are too afraid of like ruining their reputation, I guess, as they should be. But like, I need more like snap judgments where they're going too in the weeds and talking to too many people. The whole point, at least from what I understand from the original, is like just knee-jerk reactions when the person says, "Oh, I
when they walk
at
out,
a bank. I don't like banks." Pop.
That's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
And I think some of the people who linger on their pops, they think, oh, if I pop, I won't be spoken to the rest of the show, which Yvonne is pretty good at, like, oh, you popped, but what would you have said to that? You know, whatever. So I think they're not understanding that if you pop, you're still standing up there. You can still speak and react.
Okay.
I am having an issue. Mariah said it's too polished. I actually think it is towing the line between not polished at all and too polished, because there are moments. I
can understand what you mean.
There are moments when, and this is shade to the production team, when it's like they're talking to Yvonne in her in-ear and she doesn't know yet how to listen, respond, and keep hosting at the same time. So I'm like, they're not doing enough. Or when people end, they just walk off.
The way they walk off.
The way they just like abandon the set.
Is so crazy.
It's so
awkward.
I'm like, we just spent 15 minutes with these people. Can we at least say bye? Like, I like they're
so
just
weird.
gone. They're gone. And then that's it. That's it.
I agree. Because like the thing is, they should have either done a full blown like what is it, like the marriage match where they have the wall, what is that called?
Oh, like the newlywed game?
Like the newlywed game type of
Okay.
set, like a full interactive sort of moment. Or give us the white background.
Yes.
And
Yes.
the Netflix
Yes.
logo corner.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, they're trying to be too new with it when it's still in the zeitgeist as being what it is.
Yeah.
Right.
Without adding any new twist or anything to make it elevated to be more special. So we highly recommend the Pop the Balloon St. Louis on YouTube.
Okay.
It's so bad, but it's so good.
It's
gives
so
you-
good.
It is.
Watch
You're
that one.
eating good in the
It's
neighborhood with that
shocking.
program.
It's shocking.
Really?
It's so
boy.
good.
Okay. I need to tune into that
so
one.
And
good.
I
If you have an
I can't
hour
watch a
of
full
your
episode
life-
at once because I get so anxious.
Yeah,
It
even watching
is-
the clips is like crazy.
Yeah, the clips are crazy.
It's
and
too much.
Yeah, it's an hour long. When I
It's
first saw that,
crazy.
I was like, this is insane.
Too much.
No, too much.
But Pop the Balloon St. Louis. Oh,
It's
interesting.
a
It's different.
special breed. Yes.
Okay. Oh yeah, I'm gonna have to tune into
It's
this.
a local flavor.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Love a local.
To give you a
local
taste of our
anything.
hometown. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, I love this. Rachel, Mariah, and Lauren, thank you guys so much for joining. We could be here all day. We have
course.
so many
Literally.
more questions.
So many other questions for you guys.
Thank you so much for joining us. This was so fun.
So fun.
Please tell everyone where they can listen to the Smith Sisters live and what you guys got coming up.
You can listen to our show weekdays at 6 a.m. Pacific, 9 a.m. Eastern on Siris XM Radio Andy Channel 102 or anytime on demand. We also have a monthly podcast version of our show called Smith Sisters Live Deep Dive, where you can listen to it on wherever you get your podcasts. Our current episode out now is with Pastor Cal from Married at First Sight. And it's so fun because we're obsessed with that show. And so next month, stay tuned for who we have. I don't want to spoil it, but it's a very good, great, iconic interview for us to get.
Yes.
Ooh, exciting. Nice.
And also follow us on Smith Sisters Live on Instagram.
Yes.
We have a
Awesome.
shared Insta.
Oh, good. Go follow them on all the things. Listen to them on Sirius every day. And we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.